Good evening, Facebook friends and YouTube followers. This is Rich again, back for your third and final video blog of the night for Sunday, September 21st, 2014, around 8 p.m. in Billerica, Massachusetts. The sun is down, it's nightfall, and it's going to be about an average night for temperature-wise for the last full day of summer. Fall starts tomorrow, my friends, 10:29 p.m. Some news to report. The Boston Bruins will have two preseason games on NESN this preseason. September 30th against the New York Islanders at 7 p.m. and October 4th at 5:30 p.m. against the Detroit Red Wings. Both games will be played at the Garden, and Jack Edwards and Andy Brickley will be calling the games. And you'll be hearing all Bruins preseason games. Most of them will be on the Sports Hub 98.5 WBZ FM. I'm surprised that Bruins do not have all of their preseason games televised. They could use NESN Plus to have the games if it conflicts with the Red Sox. And I think people who want to watch Bruins games right now, especially the Red Sox season's winding down, one more week of them. But let's not talk about them right now. And that's about it for the news. My third and final video blog of the night is about Baseball Hall of Fame manager Joe Torre. Joe Torre was one of the best managers of all time. He managed over 25 years, and also he was a decent baseball player as well. He signed with the Milwaukee Braves in 1960 as a catcher, and he played minor league baseball for about half a season. He made his major league debut on September 25th, 1960, and he went down to the minors for the beginning of the 1961 season, but he got called up, and he was actually second in the Rookie of the Year, balloting for the National League in 1961 while playing catcher for the Milwaukee Braves. He played 9 seasons with the Braves in Milwaukee and Atlanta, and he had stats of 142 home runs, 552 RBIs, 294 average. He was the first player to hit a home run at the old Atlanta Fulton County Stadium, nicknamed the Launching Pad. He got traded to the Cardinals before the 1969 season for future Hall of Famer Orlando Cepeda. He had a disagreement with the general manager of the Braves at the time, so they traded him before the season started. And he played first base, then he moved to playing first base and third base with the Cardinals because they had a catcher. Tim McCarver was their starting catcher, and they weren't going to move Tim McCarver, so Joe Torre had to learn a new position. 6 seasons with the Cardinals. He won the 1971 National League Most Valuable Player by having a .363 batting average, 24 home runs, and 137 RBIs. Played 6 seasons with the Cardinals. He had a .308 average, 98 home runs, 558 RBIs. He got traded to the New York Mets before the 1975 season, and his career stats went downhill, fading as a player because he became a part-time player. .267 average, 12 home runs, and 75 RBIs. 18-year major league career, .297 batting average, 252 home runs, 1,185 RBIs, 2,346 hits. 9 times he's played in the All-Star game. Was a borderline Hall of Fame candidate for a player, and he spent 15 years on the ballot. His highest vote never getting more than 25% of the vote but he stayed on the ballot 15 years, but he never reached over 25% of the vote. And he's brought up to the Veterans Committee for a player, but he's never got voted in as a player. Then he managed. He first started managing the New York Mets from still he was a player manager in 1977. He retired to focus full-time on managing through 1981. But he never had a winning season with the Mets. Then he managed the Braves from 1982 to 1984. 1982, he led the Atlanta Braves to the National League's Western Division title. They started the year 12-0, and they barely hanged on to the National League West Championship. They won that division by 1 or 2 games, and that was the first time that Joe Torre appeared in postseason at all for the major leagues. But they got swept by the Cardinals. As a player, he never reached the postseason. Then he got fired after the end of the 1984 season when the Braves had a losing record. Then for 5 years, from 1985 through 1990, Joe worked for the California Angels as a color man on the TV broadcast. He was paired with Jay Randolph. They did Angels games on the television for 5 years. And then he managed the St. Louis Cardinals for 6 years, but he didn't have he lost more games than he won. And then he went to manage the New York Yankees for 12 years. And from 1996 through 2007, and he had 1,173 wins, 767 losses. He led the Yankees to 4 World Series championships, 6 American League pennants, 10 AL East titles, and 2 times they made it as a wild card. 2 times he was named American League's Manager of the Year. He turned into a very good manager. He would probably, when he managed the Yankees, he became one of the best managers ever. And because the Yankees had great talent and he was a great manager. Then at the end of the 2007 season, after the wild card when the Yankees lost in 4 games to the Cleveland Indians, Joe Torre wasn't brought back, and that was a shame. A lot of fans really wanted Torre back, but he had disagreements with the ownership of the Yankees, and then he went to manage the Los Angeles Dodgers for 3 years from 2008 to 2010. He led the Dodgers to 2 straight National League West titles and 2 National League Championship Series appearances, but they did not win the National League pennant. He retired after the 2010 season, managing, compiling a 2,326 wins, 1,997 losses, and Joe Torre is probably the best manager of all time who was a very good player, because most of the times when you're a manager, a baseball manager, they're maybe middle of the road players or like fringe players, and but Joe was probably the best one who was a good player, and a great manager. Then he moved over to become the executive vice president of baseball operation for Major League Baseball, which he still holds that job today. And he was elected to the Baseball Hall of Fame by the Veterans Committee as a manager this year, 2014, along with Bobby Cox and Tony La Russa. He was named unanimously. I wonder if he'll get voted into the Hall of Fame by the Veterans Committee as a player. If he does that, he'll be the first man ever to be voted in the Baseball Hall of Fame as a player and a manager. I think that's happening. I think the Pro Basketball Hall of Fame, there's about 3 people who were inducted in the Hall of Fame as both a player and as a coach. Lenny Wilkins, Bill Sharman, and John Wooden are the only 3 men to be enshrined in the Pro Basketball Hall of Fame as a player and as a coach. So Joe Torre could be the first one to be inducted as a player and a manager if he gets voted in as a player, but we'll see about that. And his number 6 was finally retired by the New York Yankees after he was estranged from the team for a while, which that number deserved to be retired and stuff like that. And Joe Torre is one of the class acts in all of baseball and stuff like that. And that's about it on him. And I'll be back tomorrow for at least 3 to 6 more video blogs about stuff. The subjects tomorrow will be the top 10 greatest NBA coaches of all time, the Stone Cold Steve Austin Vince McMahon feud, and what I think about the the second wild card, and might be an idea. Maybe Major League Baseball should add a third wild card. Have a good day, Facebook friends and YouTube followers. See you tomorrow.